This car was Chrysler's attempt to conquer NASCAR, and it's packed with raw, ground-shaking power. The Charger 500 was built with aerodynamics in mind, swapping out the split grille and reworking the rear to streamline its shape. But let's talk about that engine. When the 426 Hemi was fired up, it didn't just growl, it roared. The sound was intense, thanks to its big V8 cylinders pushing out an almost mythic rumble. Testers loved its agility on the street, especially with its manual transmission that could hit the quarter mile in just over 13 seconds, topping out around 104 miles per hour. This automatic version lagged just a touch, but still gave a thrilling performance. This wasn't just a race car in disguise. It handled city traffic and highway cruising with equal ease. Yet, despite all this, the Charger's 500 racing record didn't match the car's promise. So, Chrysler didn't stop there. They went on to design the famous Dodge Daytona with a wild wing and nose cone, taking things even further in the aero wars. Still, the Charger 500 remains one of the loudest, proudest muscle cars to ever hit the street. Number 32. The 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429. When people saw this beast, they thought it would be Ford's answer to the Corvette, a street racer. But the Boss 429 had a different mission: NASCAR. Ford needed 500 units to qualify the engine for racing, but they chose to drop it into the newly styled 69 Mustang. The 429 cubic inch V8 was a powerhouse designed for high revving tracks, complete with a Holley 4-barrel carb and aluminum high riser. But here's where things got interesting. The engine was all about top-end speed, not the dragstrip grunt muscle car fans expected. It needed those revs to really show off, which meant it wasn't as quick as off the line as some other big block monsters. There were even early issues with the valve springs, which limited the RPM and prevented the engine from showing its full potential. Ford put effort into making the Boss handle well, giving it a wider track and better suspension. But despite this handling boost, fans were a bit disappointed with its quarter-mile times. The Boss 429 sounded incredible though, a high-revving roar that was completely different from the low growl of the Charger. Ford stopped the Boss 429 after 1970, leaving enthusiasts with a car that sounded amazing and handled beautifully, but never quite became the street warrior fans expected. Number 31. The 1969 Plymouth GTX 440. The 1969 Plymouth GTX 440 was a classic powerhouse, known as Plymouth's first all-in-one performance model. The GTX shared a body with the rougher Roadrunner, but came dressed in finer details like chrome trims, double stripes, and a high-end interior. Standard was the Super Commando 440 engine, a 375 horsepower big block V8 that made it more than capable on the track. While the optimal 426 Hemi engine could take the GTX to even higher levels of performance, it was pricier, so only a select few went for it. The GTX's sophisticated look set it apart, showing that a muscle car could have both style and power. Number 30. The 1969 Dodge Super Bee 440 6-pack. Then, we've got the Dodge Super Bee 440 6-pack, which was Dodge's answer to Plymouth's Roadrunner. Built on the Chrysler Bee's platform, the Super Bee became an instant hit for its raw power and affordability. If you chose the A12 package, your Super Bee came with a 440 cubic inch engine, 3 carburetors, aka the 6-pack, and a look that screamed power, a flat black hood with 6-pack lettering, and a lift-off hood design. It was a bit longer and heavier than its Roadrunner cousin, but that didn't stop it from dominating on the streets. With an impressive 390 horsepower. For a true performance experience, most drivers went for the 4-speed manual transmission, paired with a Hurst shifter that made gear changes smooth and precise. In terms of collectible value, the 6-pack Super Bees remain slightly more affordable than the rare Hemi models, making them a popular choice for muscle car enthusiasts today. Number 29. The 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge. With its bright orange paint, cool rally wheels, and iconic decals, the Judge turned heads before it even started. But the real magic was under the hood. The Ram Air 3 V8 engine. Fire it up, and you've got a throaty, aggressive sound that dared anyone to try to keep up. Pontiac didn't hold back on style either, adding a rear spoiler, a hood scoop, and a Hearst shifter, making it a dream for young drivers looking for a statement ride. The Judge went from 0 to 60 in a flash, hitting the quarter mile in 13.2 seconds at 104 miles per hour. Number 28, the 69 Plymouth Roadrunner 440 6-pack A12. The Plymouth Roadrunner was already a beast, but the 440 6-pack, known officially as the A12 package, took things to another level. Imagine pulling up to a stoplight and hearing that deep, thunderous idol of a 440 cubic inch V8 just waiting to be unleashed. This wasn't just a sound, it was a statement. 390 horsepower and 490 pound-per-foot of torque rumbling under a fiberglass hood. Held in place by 4 pins for that all-business look. When you floored it, 3 Holley carburetors kicked in, 1 2-barrel for everyday driving, and 2 extra 2-barrels for that full-throttle roar. Push the pedal and you'll feel a wave of power as the Roadrunner lunged forward. In a test run, drag racer Ronnie Sox hit 111.8 miles per hour in the quarter mile, clocking it at 12.91 seconds. A serious time for a factory car. Plymouth made fewer than 1,500 of these coupes and hardtops, and when you heard one scream down the track, you knew it was something special. The Roadrunner A12 was like a one-hit wonder in music. It arrived, made an unforgettable impression, and then Plymouth stopped production, leaving fans wanting more. Number 27, the 69 Chevy Camaro ZL1. The 69 Camaro ZL1 was a special breed. Chevy built this Camaro for one purpose: to dominate the drag strip. The ZL1 had a unique all-aluminum 427 cubic inch V8 engine, producing over 500 horsepower. Chevy rated it at 430, but insiders knew it was more. And at just 500 pounds, it was as light as Chevy's smaller V8s, making it incredibly powerful and fast. Imagine this: you're at a drag race and you hear the ZL1 rev up. A high-pitched roar that's sharper and more aggressive than the Roadrunner's low rumble, equipped with a 410 Posey rear end. This car could launch hard and fast. Straight from the factory, it could run low 13s, but with some added headers, slick tires, and fine-tuning, it could blast through the quarter mile in the 11s, even hitting speeds of 122 miles per hour. But all that performance came at a steep price. Just the engine added $4,160 to the sticker, making the ZL1 cost a whopping $7,200, a huge amount in '69. Chevy instantly struggled to sell these cars, but the rarity and sheer power of the ZL1 quickly made it a legend. Today, it's a collector's dream. Number 26, the Dodge Coronet RT440. Launched in September 1968, this muscle car wasn't shy. It had a loud, aggressive style, backed by serious performance. It came with Dodge's Super B trim, a popular choice thanks to its high-powered 383 Magnum engine. But if you really wanted to shake things up, there was the RT Road Track model, offering a mighty 440 cubic inch V8. The Coronet 440 wasn't just fast. It had that classic deep, rumbling exhaust note that muscle car fans dreamed about. A low growl at idle, which turned into a thunderous roar when the pedal hit the floor. For added flair, the Coronet came in vibrant colors like bright red, green, and turquoise, with the iconic bumblebee stripes wrapping around its rear. It had a vinyl roof and an option for bench or bucket seats, allowing a touch of customization in a raw muscle machine. Inside, the rally suspension and heavy-duty shocks made sure the car handled well, but let's be honest, it was the sound that sold this beast. Number 25, the 69 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. Marketed as America's most popular midsize car, It came with sleek front-end styling, chrome headlights, and a new grille, making it both stylish and menacing. But the real heart of the Chevelle SS was its engine. A 396 cubic inch V8 that packed 325 to 375 horsepower. When you turned the key, this car let out a rumble that was more refined than the Coronet's raw roar, but it had its own signature sound that was unforgettable. For those who wanted to push the limits, Chevrolet offered the L72 420 engine, a massive 425 horsepower powerhouse that only a few lucky buyers got to experience. Every push of the accelerator sent a deep, throaty rumble from the exhaust, a sound that still resonates with the car enthusiasts. And if you were lucky enough to see a special COPO Central Office Production Order Chevelle, you'd know it was built to dominate. Only a handful were made, and they were sold through select dealerships like Yenko Chevrolet, famous for their street beasts. Even the Chevelle station wagons offered unique features, like a dual-action tailgate, proving that Chevy was all about blending functionality with style. Number 24, the 1969 Buick Grand Sport GS. Buick wasn't playing around in 1969. Even though they weren't into flashy special editions like Chevy or Pontiac. While everyone else at General Motors was dropping special models, Buick kept it cool and sophisticated with the GS 400. This model came with standard hood scoops, but they weren't just for show, they had a cool air induction system. When you revved up that V8, the twin snorkel air cleaner kicked in, boosting power and torque. And that was only, and while it didn't change much from 68, it did get a new 3-speed turbo hydromatic 350 transmission option. The standard 350 cubic inch rocket V8 churned out 310 horsepower, but if you were lucky enough to grab the W31 option, you'd be looking at 325 horsepower. Picture this, you're behind the wheel, and as you rev up that V8, you get a strong, confident growl that makes you feel alive. It's not just powerful, it's smooth, handling like a dream while providing the satisfying rumble that turns heads. Number 10, the 69 Dodge Charger SE 383. Now let's shift gears to the 69 Dodge Charger SE, a car that screams muscle car history. With its stunning design and roomy interior, the Charger was a hit, selling over 85,000 units that year. If you wanted raw power, the legendary Hemi was the way to go. This engine, with its hemispherical combustion chambers, was the stuff of racing dreams. The Charger's street versions had a 426 cubic inch Hemi V8, which pumped out a jaw-dropping 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. Imagine the thrill as you push down on the as a